My brother got a new car for graduation. I got a box of cleaning supplies. Mom smirked, time to earn your keep. I left that night. 2 days later, they called crying, we need you. I let it ring. Hey, I've been holding on to something for a bit, and I think it's finally time to spill the beans. The whole situation with my family has been super frustrating, and I never imagined it would end up like this. I'm still kind of shocked, to be honest. So, get comfy because this is one of those you won't believe it stories. First off, a bit about me, I'm Oliver, the older sibling. Growing up, I always felt like the one who had to do all the hard stuff in the family while my younger brother, Liam, seemed to just breeze through life. I'm 26 now, working a regular 9-to-5 job, and still trying to figure things out. But I've always been the dependable one. I don't really mind it, I was taught that hard work would eventually pay off, even if it takes time. Liam, on the other hand, is 22 and he's never really been into the whole hard work thing. If there's one thing Liam's great at, it's working situations to his advantage and somehow always ending up with everything handed to him. We're talking about new gadgets, designer clothes, trips, you name it, our parents were quick to give it to him. Meanwhile, I was stuck doing the usual stuff like taking care of the house, running errands, and basically doing anything they didn't feel like dealing with. Our parents were super strict with me. They always said I had to earn my place and that life wasn't going to be easy. That was their favorite line. I never really got why they treated me differently than Liam. They said they wanted me to be responsible and level-headed, which is fair, but it was always on their terms. If something needed doing, it was me they turned to. But when it came to Liam, they treated him like royalty, he could do no wrong. I got used to this dynamic over the years. Sure, I didn't get all the flashy things, but I had something they didn't, independence. I had a job at 16, worked my way through school, and always managed to keep things together. Liam? He never lifted a finger. It drove me nuts seeing them bend over backward for him. Things really hit the fan around his graduation. For our parents, it was a huge deal, they made it seem like some grand achievement, even though Liam barely passed. They were so proud of him. And me? Well, you'll find out. On the day of the graduation celebration, we had a small gathering. It wasn't anything fancy, but they made it seem like the world was watching. There was a cake with his name, balloons everywhere, and decorations. It was the event of the year for them. I don't want to sound bitter, but it's tough not to when you're in my shoes. They were so focused on Liam, they didn't even consider all I'd done. I was the one keeping the house running smoothly, helping pay bills when Dad's job wasn't cutting it, doing the shopping, the laundry, all the things that keep a household together. And then came the gifts. Liam got this flashy new car, a present our parents could barely afford. They actually took out a loan to pay for it. I wasn't mad about the car itself, but the fact that they couldn't afford it and still bought it, that stung, especially when they barely acknowledged the sacrifices I made. When it was my turn, I tried to ignore the feelings. I didn't want to be the guy who complains because he didn't get a shiny gift. But what I got felt like a slap in the face. I sat there, trying to calm the anxiety bubbling inside me, feeling like I already knew what was coming. Mom smiled at me, but it wasn't her usual warm smile. It felt almost condescending. Oliver, she said, her voice overly sweet, we know you're so responsible, and we just wanted to make sure you have what you need for your future. We thought this would be practical. I tried to smile back, hiding the frustration building inside. I didn't want to seem ungrateful, but I was bracing myself for disappointment. They handed me a small box. It felt light, and when I opened it, I wasn't ready for what I saw. Inside was a stack of household cleaning supplies, paper towels, sponges, dish soap, and the like. My heart sank. I didn't even have words. Mom and Dad chuckled, saying it was another way to show how much I contribute. Meanwhile, Liam, sitting next to me, was grinning like a Cheshire cat, making his usual snarky comments. Yeah, it hurt. A lot. I really didn't expect it to hurt so much when my parents gave my brother a brand new car, while all I got was a pile of cleaning supplies. I could feel this tight lump in my throat, like I was choking on some feeling I couldn't quite pinpoint. It was just too much to sit there and stare at those cleaning supplies any longer. So, with my voice cold as ice, I stood up and said, I'm going to head out for a bit. I need some air. I didn't even wait for them to respond. I just grabbed my jacket, packed a bag, and walked out. I had no idea what I was hoping to find out there, but I knew I couldn't stay. I could hear my parents calling after me, but I didn't look back. I just kept walking and walking. I think it was hours before I finally stopped at this small bench near the park. My mind was racing like crazy. Sure, I was furious, but I was mostly just tired. Tired of always being the responsible one, always doing everything right, and yet somehow I was the invisible one, dismissed, ignored, whatever. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through some messages from friends, just trying to distract myself from what had just gone down. I didn't even want to go back home, even though it was really the only place I had. It felt more like a cage than a home anyway. I finally decided to call a cab to take me to my buddy Jake's place, just to get away and clear my head. When I got there, I spilled everything to him. He listened quietly, but I could see the frustration building in his eyes. He knew what a mess things had been with my family. "You don't deserve that, Oliver," Jake said. "You've been busting your ass for years, and they just keep using you. You're not a damn maid." I let out this huge sigh, feeling the weight of the last few years press down on me again. "I don't know what to do anymore," I admitted. "I've given everything to them, and Liam just doesn't appreciate anything. He's spoiled, and it's like they think he can do no wrong." Jake was quiet for a bit, and then he hit me with something I'd never really considered before. "Why don't you leave for real? Get a job, start over somewhere else. You don't need them, man. You've got this." It was like a light bulb went off. He was right. I didn't have to stick around and be their backup plan anymore. Imagining leaving everything behind was tough, but it felt like the only way to really break free. I crashed at Jake's that night, and when I woke up, I knew what I had to do. It wasn't just about the stupid gift anymore. It was about my whole life and how my parents treated me compared to Liam. So, I packed a bag, grabbed what I needed, and headed to my parents' house to let them know I was leaving. They weren't home then, which just made it feel even more like I was closing a chapter I could never go back to. When they got back and saw me in the middle of packing, I heard the car pull into the driveway, and my heart skipped a beat. "Oliver?" My mom called, sounding surprised. "Where are you going?" I walked into the living room with my bag in hand. "I'm leaving, Mom." "What?" she said, her voice faltering. "Where are you going? You can't just leave like this." I kept my voice steady, even though the tension was building. "I've been carrying this family for too long. It's time for me to go. You and Dad don't need me, not really. You've always had Liam for everything else." Her face was full of disbelief, like she couldn't process it. "Oliver, you know we depend on you. You've been so helpful, and now this? This is how you thank us?" I didn't let the guilt trip work this time. "I've been helpful because you've never given me a choice. You've always expected me to clean up after everyone. Liam does whatever he wants, and you keep giving him everything. Well, I'm done." Dad came into the room, looking all confused. "What do you mean you're done? You're going to leave the family after everything we've done for you?" "You've done nothing for me, Dad," I replied, keeping calm. "Liam gets a car, and I get cleaning supplies. That's how much I mean to you." Mom's face twisted into something like panic. "You don't understand, we've been making sacrifices for your future. You're not seeing the bigger picture." I shook my head. "No, Mom, I'm done seeing the bigger picture. You've never seen me, only what you can use me for. But I'm not doing this anymore." As I turned to leave, Liam was in the doorway with a smug look on his face. "Wow, Oli, leaving already? Guess you can't handle the family spotlight, huh? I mean, I just got a brand new car for graduation, and what do you have? A bag of cleaning supplies," he laughed, and I felt my blood boil. "Shut up, Liam," I said through gritted teeth. "You don't have a clue." Mom shot him a glare but turned back to me, sounding more frantic. "Where are you even going to go? You can't just leave us like this." I didn't answer immediately. I just walked out the door, leaving it all behind. It wasn't until I was in the cab, heading to the small apartment I'd rented that morning, that the weight of what I'd just done really hit me. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you. So, for the first time in forever, I finally felt free. The next year zipped by in a flash, and I snagged a 9-to-5 gig in sales just to keep things stable. But let's be real, my real passion was my side hustle. It took a ton of time, late nights, and hard work, but after a few months, I started to see the payoff. I was making money online, not just a little, but enough to really start dreaming big. I wasn't just dependent on my family anymore or stuck in my brother's shadow. And just as I was feeling pumped about this new financial independence, the calls started rolling in. I had gone from scraping by, paycheck to paycheck, and leaning on my parents, to being a self-sufficient adult with my own financial freedom. I wasn't a millionaire or anything, but having control over my life felt like a huge win. Checking my bank balance and watching the numbers rise was honestly thrilling. But as those numbers grew, so did my family's attempts to reconnect. It kicked off with a text from my mom, acting all casual, pretending everything was normal. "Hey Oliver, how's the new place? Settling in okay? Work keeping you busy?" I could see right through it, she was trying to get me to spill about what I'd been up to. So, I kept it chill and bland. "I'm doing well. Work's keeping me busy, but it's going good." A few days passed before I heard from her again, but this time her message had a different vibe. "Oliver, your dad and I have been thinking. We're really proud of you. You've always worked hard, and we just wanted to let you know we're here for you no matter what." The tension was clear. They were sizing me up, hoping to nudge the conversation somewhere deeper. I knew what they were angling at, but I just played it cool. "Thanks, Mom. I appreciate it." Then, a week later, Liam chimed in with a message. "Hey Ollie, hope you're doing alright. I know things are a bit tense between us, but just wanted to check in. How's work going? Been thinking about you." Liam, thinking about me? That was a first. He had always been all about himself. I didn't want to be petty, but I also couldn't just act like everything was peachy. So, I stuck to my usual vague reply, "Everything's good. Work's going well and keeping me busy." A few days went by, and then my mom called. I hesitated, but eventually picked up. "Hello? Oliver, honey, it's Mom," she said, sounding overly sweet. "Hope you're doing well. Your dad and I were just talking, and we were wondering if you could come by soon. We really miss you. It's not the same without you here." My stomach churned. It felt like a setup. They hadn't missed me before, not in the way they claimed. Suddenly, they wanted to act like they cared. Her voice was dripping with desperation. "I don't know, Mom," I said, trying to stay neutral. "I've got a lot going on here. Things are different now." She paused for a second. I could hear her breathing on the line, waiting for her comeback. And there it was. "Well, it's just that we've been struggling a little. You know, with your brother's car and the bills piling up. It's been tough for us lately. We could really use your help." I knew it was coming. They'd been sinking in debt, taking out loans to get Liam his car, and now they were in over their heads. And suddenly, they remembered I was part of the family, but it wasn't out of concern for me, it was because they needed something. My heart clenched. "I don't know what you expect from me, Mom. I'm not coming back. I've built my own life here." Her voice trembled. "We know you're doing well, Oliver. We just thought you could help us out a little, that's all. Just to get back on our feet." I paused, letting her words sink in, realizing they expected me to drop everything, move back, and clean up their mess. "Listen, Mom, I'm not coming back. You and Dad made your choices. You decided to put everything into Liam. You can't just expect me to fix things when they go south." Silence followed before she spoke again, pleading. "Oliver, please. We've made mistakes, but we're trying. We really need you." I wasn't sure what I felt, anger, pity, resentment, a mix of it all. I had fought so hard to escape that environment, and now they wanted to pull me back as their backup plan. "I can't help you," I said, my resolve hardening. "I've worked too hard for this. I won't go back to that." And that was just the start. The calls kept coming over the next few weeks, each time more desperate. Mom and Dad had their own spin, reminding me of how much they'd done for me, how much they needed me. Even Liam came up, with them talking about his slipping grades and how he couldn't handle grown-up life, despite having a car now. But every time I refused, their pleas got more intense, until eventually the calls stopped altogether. The silence was almost worse than the non-stop begging. I knew they were still out there, trying to figure things out without me. I knew they were ticked off, but hey, life goes on, right? Then, out of nowhere, Liam messaged me. It wasn't just the usual "Hey, how are you?" or "Miss you." Nope, this time it was serious. "Oliver, I need your help. Things are getting out of control. Dad's been super upset lately and Mom's clueless about what to do. We're really in trouble." I didn't reply right away. I mean, what was he expecting from me? Why was he reaching out now? After a few minutes, I finally typed back, "What do you want from me, Liam?" His response was almost instant, and you could feel the panic in his words. "I'm serious, ally. We're in debt. We can't keep up with the car payments. I don't know who else to ask." My heart just sank. This wasn't just their problem anymore, it was like watching a family fall apart. And Liam, who always had everything handed to him, was just starting to see how bad it had gotten. I sat there, staring at my phone, fingers twitching with frustration, before I finally replied, "Liam, you don't get it. This isn't my problem." Yeah, harsh words, but I felt like they needed to be said. This wasn't just about money, this was about standing by my principles. I couldn't be their go-to savior every time things went south. They expected me to drop everything and make sacrifices when they were the ones who sidelined me in the first place. I could almost feel relief as I typed more. You and Dad got yourselves into this mess. I told you when I left, I was done. I'm not coming back to fix things for you. Don't even ask. I hit send and, just then, my phone rang. It was Mom. The last thing I wanted was to talk to her, but it kept ringing. I sighed deeply and picked up. Hello, Oliver, she began, and I could already hear the crack in her voice. She was barely holding it together, and the desperation was obvious. I don't know what to do. You need to come back. Your dad, he's not dealing well. He's been so upset, and Liam, well, his grades are slipping. He doesn't know how to handle everything. It's all just falling apart. I clenched my jaw, patience wearing thin. Mom, I don't care about their problems. I've got my own life now. I told you I wouldn't come back. You chose to spoil Liam and ignore me for years. And now you want me to fix it? No. There was silence on her end. I knew my words hurt, but I wasn't going to apologize, not this time. Mom, you need to figure this out. I'm not responsible for your financial mistakes. I'm not your fallback plan. Her voice trembled. I'm not asking you to fix everything, Oliver. We just thought maybe you could help a little. It's hard, and we don't know who else to turn to. My temper rose. You ignored me when I needed help, and now you think I owe you? What happened to the perfect family that didn't need me, as long as Liam had everything he wanted? It's not like that, Ollie. We've made mistakes, but we're trying to do better now. Please, just come home. A bitter laugh escaped me. I'm not coming back. I'm not bailing you out. You can't just call when it's convenient. You made your choices. Oliver, please, she started again, but I cut her off. No. I've heard this before. I'm not your solution. You want to fix things? Start with Liam. He's the one with the fancy car, who's never worked a day. Learn what adulting looks like, and stop leaning on me. I could hear her crying now, the tears choking her words. You don't understand, Ollie. You don't see how hard it's been. Please. Guilt gnawed at me, but I shook it off. I understand perfectly, I said, voice firm. But I'm not going to give in. I'm not putting my life on hold to fix yours. Face the consequences of your choices. I hung up before she could respond, letting out a long breath. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from months of pent-up frustration. They had always seen me as someone they could manipulate, push around when it suited them. But not anymore. I knew they wouldn't give up. Mom was always persistent when she wanted something, and Dad had a talent for guilt-tripping me. But I had come too far to let them pull me back into that life. About a week later, as I was wrapping up at work, a notification popped up on my phone. So, I got this text from my dad, and it kind of threw me for a loop. He said he and my mom have been chatting and made some changes, and they apologized for how things have been. They both want to help me now and said they miss me. They even asked me to come home so we can patch things up together. As I sat there, reading the message, my heart was pounding. I didn't know what to feel. Part of me was mad, but another part wondered if they actually meant what they were saying. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I was stuck in my apartment, going over everything, like the way they treated me in the past. Where was this love when I really needed it? Now, out of the blue, they wanted me to come back and help them out. I just wasn't buying it. A few days went by with no word from them, and I started thinking maybe they finally got the hint. Maybe they realized they couldn't keep leaning on me as their emotional crutch. But then, bam, another message came in, and it wasn't from my parents, it was from Liam. He asked if I was seriously going to leave them hanging and kind of accused me of being selfish. He went on about how they're struggling and that I was just letting them flounder. He even said he thought I was better than this. And there it was again, the manipulation, the guilt tripping, the same old tricks. I wasn't shocked that it came from Liam this time. He's always been the one to play the victim when things didn't go his way, like the world revolves around him. But I wasn't falling for it anymore. I took my time crafting a response, making sure every word counted. I told him he didn't get it, that I'm not his backup plan or savior. I reminded him that he's the one who's been spoon-fed everything, and now that things aren't perfect, he wants to pin it on me. I let him know I didn't owe him anything and it was time for him to stand on his own. I hit send, my finger trembling a bit, but I was more certain than ever that I'd made the right choice. That wasn't the end, though. A couple of weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. It was my dad on the line. He sounded more vulnerable than I'd ever heard, admitting they'd messed up. He said they were trying to fix things and that they're sorry. He insisted they didn't only care about what I could do for them, they just wanted their family back. The words struck a chord, and for a moment, I wanted to believe them, believe that they were genuinely sorry. But the logical side of me remembered everything they had put me through, how they used me to clean up their messes. I was done being the backup plan. I told my dad I wasn't coming back, not now, not ever. He had used up all his chances, and I was making my own choices now. After a long pause, he finally said he understood but hoped I'd know they were there if I ever changed my mind. I hung up, and for the first time, felt a weird sense of freedom. It's been a year since that conversation, and my parents have tried reaching out a few times, but I've stuck to my guns. I'm not letting them back into my life, and I don't feel guilty about it. Over the past year, I've been building something for myself, aiming for financial independence so I won't ever have to rely on anyone else. I know deep down that when they hear about my progress, they might try to reach out again. But I won't be there. So Reddit, what do you think? Am I wrong for not helping them out? I'm kind of torn between feeling I did the right thing and feeling guilty about leaving them behind. I mean, they're family, but after everything that's happened, I'm just not sure if I can forgive them. What do you all think?